In this video, we are going to cover how we can add a preloader on our Gutenberg website. So if you don't want your visitors to wait till your website page loads, then you can easily add some amazing looking preloaders, which will not just keep your visitors hooked on your website, it will also help your visitors to stick on your website till the web content is loading in the background. So we are going to build preloaders that will look something like this. Or maybe this one, or maybe this one where we have this animation, or maybe this one where we will combine different animations as well as page transitions. So if all that sounds interesting and you also want to add these preloaders on your Gutenberg website, then hop in and I'll show you everything step by step. My name is Ankit Sharma from the team POSIMYTH, and if you want to deep dive in the world of Gutenberg and see how we can build some amazing stuff using the Plus add-ons for Gutenberg, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified about the 2 videos that we publish every week. With that said, let's dive in our WordPress backend and build some amazing looking preloaders. So here we are in our WordPress backend, and if we go in the plugins section, here we have the Plus add-ons for Block Editor free as well as the Pro version. And after adding both of these plugins, we will get a new option in the backend. It says Plus Settings. If we go here and then click on Plus Blocks, and here we will search for Preloader. So this is the Preloader Gutenberg block that we need to use, and as you can see, it's part of the Pro plan of the Plus add-ons for Gutenberg. So make sure you have the Pro version of this plugin installed and activated. And after that, we will turn this block on and then click on Save. Alright, so if we go ahead and take a look at our website front end, this is how it looks. And if we refresh it right now, it takes around 2 seconds to refresh, and as you can see right now there is no preloader. Now to add this preloader we have 2 ways now. If we want this preloader to show on all the pages, we can go ahead and add the block in the header of the website so that it will be loaded on all the pages. Or if we just want this preloader on specific pages, then we need to add that on that particular page. So right now we will go and add the preloader in our header and see how it works. And as we are creating a Gutenberg website, for creating our custom header, we are using the Nexter theme and the Nexter builder. And for that, you need to make sure that you have the Nexter theme installed. And after that, we need to make sure that we have at least Nexter extension, the free version. Right now, I have the free as well as the pro one, but you can create your custom header using the Nexter extension free version. Now, after installing Nexter extension, we will get this option Nexter builder here. So let's click on this. Alright, so this is the place where we will see all the templates that we will design using this Nexter builder. So let's go ahead and add a new one, and maybe we can name it pre-header, and at the bottom we have Nexter builder option, so we choose sections, and from here we will select header because we are going to build a custom header. And then we will choose the display rule and we will select entire site so that we can show this header on all the pages. And now let's close this box, and here in the content area we will start by adding a row layout. We will select TP row block and divide that into 3 equal columns. And in the first one, let's add our logo. So we will choose TP site logo option, and from the right hand side, let's upload an image. So we can use this as our logo. Let's select that, and image size will be full, and max width we can change it to maybe 150 or 155. And in the extra options, make sure the logo URL is set to home URL. And now on the second column we will add our navigation, but before that let's select the TP row again and make it full width. Now let's reduce the size of our first column, and then in the second one we will add our navigation. So we will select the TP navigation menu from here, and on the right hand side for this example we will choose WordPress menu, and we will make sure it's a horizontal menu, and we can select our top menu from here. So these are the elements in our navigation that we have created from the WordPress backend. Apart from the native WordPress menu, we can select manual, and here we can create our custom menu. Along with that, we can also create a mega menu using this. So if you want to learn how you can create a mega menu in your Gutenberg website, then make sure you watch our video that we will link in the I button above. And with that, we will show you how you can create a mega menu step by step on your Gutenberg site. So let's switch back to WordPress menu, and here we will select top menu, and alignment of the menu we will keep it on right hand side, and in the third column we will add a button. So maybe we'll choose TP button block, and we will leave it as it is. We will not customize any style here. This is just for creating a call to action button here. So now we come back in our TP row again, and in vertical position we will select middle, and let's publish this header from here. And now let's go ahead and refresh our front end. So now we have a custom header here, and as we know that if we go on any page we will have the same header. It means whatever we will add in this header will be added on all the pages of our website. So this is the best place to add our preloader if we want this to be loaded on all the pages. So here let's start by adding a TP row again. So we will create a row with a single column, and we will make it full width. And under this we will search for preloader, and this is the TP preloader block. Let's select this. And now we can move on to the settings of this preloader, and here the first option is image. If we select that, or instead of this image we can choose our icon from the library. We can either choose a simple text, or we can have some predefined preloaders that we already have inbuilt with this block, or you can go with my favorite one, that is Lottie files. So we will cover that in a few minutes. And after that we have custom code where you can use the CSS based preloaders. And after that we have the shortcodes, and in the last we have a progress bar. So we will cover all that step by step, but let's start by adding an image. So here we will choose image from our library. So either we can select image from here. Most probably you wish to have your logo, or you can use these dynamic tags here and select the option as your site logo. So this will automatically load your site logo. So this is the same that we have just added here. And image size we will keep full width. And as mentioned before, instead of this logo image which is coming from the dynamic tag, you can easily add any image from your media library. After adding our image, the next option is image as loader. So if we turn this on, this image or this logo will act as our preloader. So before we dive in and talk about all the rest of the options, let's publish this right here and see how it looks in the front end. Alright, so this was our front page, and let's see what happens when we refresh this page. So let's click on refresh, and here is our logo as preloader. You can see the moving effect or the revealing effect here, and then it loads the final website. So now our visitors don't have to waste time for waiting the website to load. They will be hooked with these amazing looking preloaders. So this is just by adding a simple image as preloader. Let's make it more interesting. So now after adding our logo as our preloader, after that we have option for backend visibility. So if we turn this off, we won't be able to see this static image here. So this will help us to get a little bit of preview what we are going to use or see as our preloader. So we can turn this on, but we cannot expect everything to show here. So we will keep this on so that we can have a little bit of idea how we are building this preloader. And after that, we have few more options that we are going to cover in a minute. But first, let's scroll up and go to Style. And here we can play around with the settings of this image preloader. We can change the width and we can add some margin or padding, or maybe a border if you have a JPEG file, or maybe you can add some border radius to make this image looks rounded. And we can also add some box shadow. So depending upon your image, you can use that as well. And here we can play around with the opacity of our image. Along with that, we have some filters, so we can go ahead and play around with that as well. So let's say we want to blur this image, and let's update this here. So let's refresh our front end. So now you see the logo is blurred and it gets revealed as the website loads. So this is how we can play around with all these opacity and filters. This is for the normal state of image. You can do the same for the fill state. That is the time when we see the logo is revealing. After this, we have style settings for icon, text, predefined, progress bar. So all of these are different style of preloaders. We are going to cover these styles once we add the particular preloader in the layout section. So main setting that we need to cover here with this image is the box one. So let's open this style. We can go ahead and define this width. So maybe we can play around with this width here. And most importantly, we can add a background color. So this will add a background color to our image if it is a transparent one. And this will also work for the text and icon preloaders. So you can play around with the width. So now you can clearly see the effect of width with this background color. So if you have certain style which requires these background color, you can use that. But right now we will keep it clear. You can also add some border or give some border width, and you can play around with the border radius as well. So all that depends on what kind of image you are using. So right now we will just reset this, and after this we will come to the whole background setting. So here under background option, we can choose a background color like this. So maybe we can choose this light blue shade color. So this is how you can play around with this background color. You can reduce the opacity so that we can see a little bit from the background. So let's try how it looks. So now we can see a little bit of opacity here and our preloader. And instead of this color, you can also choose some gradient. So you can play around with that. So let's click on gradient here. And maybe we can add something like this. And you can play around with the style of gradient, either linear or radius. So linear one looks perfect. So maybe we can play around with the colors. So you can choose the color depending upon your website theme. So let's try with this one and see how it looks. So let's refresh our front end. So now we have this bright gradient in the background, and then we have the preloader, and then it loads the final website. So this is how we can use a gradient for our preloader background. And instead of gradient, we can choose a background image as well. So if we select any image, so maybe this one. So let's select this image. So we have our image here, and we can select the position as center. We can choose as default, background repeat, no repeat, background size as cover. So let's update this here and see how it looks now. So let's refresh it again. And now we have a background image and we have our logo as our preloader. And now we have our final website. So now instead of this image or this logo, let's go ahead and add some icon here. So maybe we can choose any icon from the library. And right now we have the background color here as well. So you can go ahead and remove that. So it's again depending upon your website theme. So if we go ahead and remove everything, and in the style itself, instead of image, we can now jump on to the style of icon. So here we can change the size of this icon and we can give it a color, and we can have a background color as well, so we don't need that. And we can have the box style. So for the background we can choose some gradient here as well, or maybe some solid color. So let's update this here and let's see how it looks in the front end. So this is how we can have a simple icon as our preloader. So now once the preloader is done, it will reveal the website. So now instead of icon we can add text. So here is the text area where we can type in our content. So right now it says loading, please wait. And if we change this as text as loader, so this will now reveal this text as our preloader. And let's add some color to this text. So maybe something like this. And let's update this here and let's refresh the front end. And this is our preloader. And we can also change the typography. So maybe for the font family, so we can play around with any font from here and select the font size. And if we go in style, here we have the styling option for text. So once again, we can add some padding, margin, background, border or border radius for this text. So pretty much all the style settings that we have already covered. So maybe we can choose this dark blue color, and here maybe we can increase the width of our box so that all the text will be in one single line. Let's update this now. And let's refresh our front end again. So now this text will act as our preloader. Now once that is done, we come back to our layout. And now instead of text, we can use predefined, which is very interesting. You can use all these predefined elements and use them as your preloader. So let's say we select this one and update this and refresh our front end. So you can see that with our background image, this is our predefined preloader. And once we have selected this, we can come down to the style option here. And here we can see the style option for predefined. So we can again play around with the margin, padding for this predefined animation here. So let's come back to layout. So instead of predefined, this time we will choose my favorite one, that is Lottie files. So here is an option to add the JSON URL for the Lottie files. So let's find one. So let's say we want to add this Lottie file here. Let's click on this, and here is the URL. Let's copy it from here and then paste it here. So this is the JSON URL. After this, we can play around with the width of this Lottie animation, and we can play around with the height, and we can also change the speed of this animation. So we will keep it at 1, and we can loop this animation, which we should, so that it can continuously play if in case the website doesn't load when the animation ends. So now we can update this again and see how it looks in the front end. So this is our Lottie animation using as our preloader. So now once the Lottie file is done, we can have a custom code as well. So here we can add some HTML and CSS3 preloaders. So let's try to find one and see how that works. So you can find a lot of CSS3 preloaders. So here are some of them. So let's say we choose this one, and here we have the HTML code, and above that we have the CSS. So let's copy the CSS and come back on our page editor. So you need to know a little bit of HTML and CSS to use this. So we can type in style tag, and under this style tag we will paste the style, and after this we will add our HTML code. So let's paste it here. So now you can see we have this CSS animation going on here. Once that is done, let's update this and let's see how it looks in the front end. This is how our CSS3 preloader looks like. So now instead of this custom code, we can choose a shortcode. So here, once we have selected the shortcode, we get an option to paste our shortcode here, and we can use any Nexter template that we have created in our backend and use this as our preloader. So let's go in our Nexter builder again and build some sample design, and then we will use that as our preloader. But while you are designing this in the Nexter builder, make sure you do not make it too heavy. So make sure it's lightweight so that it won't break the whole purpose of preloader. So here we come back in our Nexter builder and let's add a new one, and let's call it preload block. And let's say we add some animated heading here. So this is the style we can choose. So you can play around with the ready-made style here. And for the text, we can scroll down. Here we can type in so something like this. All right, let's publish this template here. And if we go back in our Nexter builder, so this is the preload block that we have just created as a template in our Nexter builder. And here we have the shortcode for this. Let's copy this from here and let's paste it here. So here we won't be able to see any preview, but if we update this and let's refresh the front end. So this is our template that we have created using Nexter builder, and this is getting used as our preloader. So this is how you can create any template and then use it as your preloader. Alright, after this we can have a progress bar. So this is a progress bar which we have always seen as a preloader. So you can choose the style. So I like this one. So here we can choose the color. So how the empty color should look like, this one. So let's say we add this green color here. And for the fill color, we will leave it as it is. Stroke width, we can change the width of this stroke here. And for the percentage, we can choose the color maybe as white. And we can also play around with the typography. So maybe something like this. And maybe we can increase the font size a bit. And after that, we go to style. And here we have the progress bar styles. So once again, we can play around with the width, the height, and the margin. So we can give a border to our progress bar. So depending upon which style you have selected, you can play around with all these options. So let's update this and see how it looks in the front end. So if we refresh our page, and now it's starting to load our preloader first. Once it is 100%, it will load our complete website. Pretty cool. So now we have covered all the types of preloaders that we can use. And after this, we go down here. We have an option for animated load first. If we turn this on, here we have an option to exclude any part of our website from the preloader. For example, right now we have added this preloader in our header, so we cannot exclude this from preloading. So in case we have added this preloader on any page, so let's go ahead and copy this from here, and we will remove this preloader from here. Let's update this and let's go in any page. And let's say we add this on our home page itself, and here let's paste this preloader. And now if we come back here, animated load first, we have added header as exclude, and we will add Z indexed as top as possible so that the header will be excluded from our preloader, and this will be always on the top. So let's see how it looks in the front end so that you will get a better idea. So let's update this. So So maybe we can go to style, and for this box, for this background color, maybe we can reduce the opacity a bit. Let's update this. And now if we refresh this, we have changed the position of our preloader from our header to our home page. So let's see what happens when we refresh this page. So now you see our header is active on the top and our preloader is still working. So this is how we can exclude our header from the preloader area. And not just header, you can do that for any section on your website. Let's say we want to exclude this hero section from preloader. So we select this entire row, we go to advanced, we give it a class, we call it X hero, and then we select our preloader again. We go to animated load first, and instead of header we will select custom, and here we will enter our class with a period sign. So we will type in dot or period and then paste our class name, and make sure we have the maximum Z index so that it will be always on the very top, even above our preloader. Once that is selected, let's update this. So now let's refresh our front end. So here you can see our title, call to action button, and this image are above our preloader, and they are not hiding behind this preloader. So we can easily access any element on this section even if the preloader is going on. So this is how we can exclude our header or any element on our page from this preloader. So we can bring back our preloader in the header again. So now we have covered how we can use all these elements for our preloader. Let's take it to the next step and see how we can combine these elements to create a complex preloader. So here we will choose this progress bar, maybe this design, and along with that let's add a new item, and this time we will choose our Lottie file. So let's paste the JSON URL again, and we will loop this animation. So now we have combined two elements as our progress bar. So let's see how it works. Let's update this and let's refresh our front end. So now you see this progress bar on the top, and below this we have our Lottie image animation. So maybe we can come back to this animation again and let's refresh it again. So this one looks pretty cool. We have our Lottie file animation as well as we have this progress bar. So this is a custom preloader where we have combined our two elements to make the final preloader. And now we come down to the very interesting part, that is page transition. And this will allow us to add some transition effects while our page is loading. So first we will have the preloader, and then it will show this transition animation. Right now it is set on fade, so that's why we see this fading effect once the page is loading. If we change that to triple swoosh, let's see how it looks. So we can choose the direction, so maybe we can keep it from left, and we can also define the out transition. So you can say fade with these colors. And once again we have the exclude class, so we can exclude the elements from this transition as well. So let's update this here and see how it works. Now let's refresh our front end. So first we have our preloader. Once that is done, now we have our page transition. Pretty cool, right? So this is how we can add page transition after the preloader. And at the end, under extra options, we can define the load time. So here we can define minimum or maximum. So depending upon your requirement, you can set this animation how you want to show your preloader and the page transition. So let's say you have detected with the page speed test that your complete website takes around 2 to 3 seconds to load. Now with that, you can set the load time minimum as 3 seconds. So it will surely keep the preloader for 3 seconds and then show the final page. So let's update this and see how it looks in the front end. So the preloader starts loading the page, and it will make sure that it will take 3 seconds to finish all this process, so that in the background it will load our complete web page. Now I hope you will be able to build some amazing looking preloaders with this block, but if in case you think there is something missing in this block or any of the block in the Plus family, then feel free to visit our roadmap page here. We will add the link in the video description below, and here you can create your account and go to feature request. And by using this simple form, you can let us know which feature you wish to add in any of the Plus family blocks, and this will directly go to our developers and they will work on it to make sure that we will make your request live with our Gutenberg blocks as soon as possible. So that's how we can add some amazing looking preloaders on our Gutenberg website. So if you like this video, then make sure you hit the like button, and if you want to learn more about such amazing features of Plus add-ons for Gutenberg, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we upload our next video. So that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next video.